Finding joy in simple hobbies. Sophie was 19 years old and lived in a quiet neighborhood with her parents and her younger cousin, Lily. Their house was small but warm, with a little garden in front where flowers grew in many colors. Sophie liked spending time at home because it was peaceful and comfortable. Sophie believed that hobbies were very important. She felt that hobbies made life more interesting and helped people relax after busy days. She had many hobbies, and each one brought her happiness in a different way. Every morning, Sophie woke up at 7 o'clock. She opened her curtains and let the sunlight fill her room. She liked to start her day slowly. After washing her face and brushing her teeth, she went to the kitchen for breakfast. While eating, Sophie often thought about what she wanted to do that day. Sometimes she planned to draw, sometimes to read, and sometimes to practice music. Her parents often smiled when they saw her excitement. One of Sophie's favorite hobbies was drawing. She kept a sketchbook on her desk and liked to draw flowers, people, and simple scenes from daily life. She was not a professional artist, but she enjoyed the process. One afternoon, Sophie sat in the garden with her sketchbook. She watched butterflies flying around the flowers and tried to draw them. The soft wind and warm sunlight made her feel calm and focused. Her cousin Lily came outside and watched Sophie draw. Lily asked many questions, and Sophie patiently explained how she chose colors and shapes. Lily became interested and wanted to try drawing too. Another hobby Sophie loved was reading. She enjoyed reading stories about adventures, friendship, and everyday life. Reading helped her imagine different worlds and learn new ideas. In the evenings, Sophie often sat by the window with a book. She liked the quiet feeling of turning pages and getting lost in a story. Sometimes she read aloud to Lily, who listened with excitement. Sophie also liked listening to music. She had a small speaker in her room and played soft songs while relaxing or doing simple tasks. Music made her feel peaceful and happy. One day, Sophie decided to learn how to play the guitar. She borrowed an old guitar from her neighbor and started practicing simple chords. At first, it was difficult, and her fingers felt uncomfortable. But she did not give up. Each day, she practiced a little more. Slowly, she learned to play simple songs. Lily often sat nearby and clapped when Sophie played. This encouraged Sophie to continue. Cooking was another hobby Sophie enjoyed. She liked trying new recipes and preparing meals for her family. On weekends, she sometimes cooked breakfast or baked simple cakes. Her mother taught her how to measure ingredients and follow instructions carefully. Sophie enjoyed the smells in the kitchen and the feeling of creating something delicious. One rainy afternoon, Sophie baked cookies. The house filled with a warm, sweet smell. Her family gathered in the kitchen, and they enjoyed the cookies together. Sophie felt proud and happy. Sophie also enjoyed gardening. She helped water plants, remove weeds, and plant new flowers. Watching plants grow gave her a sense of satisfaction. In the garden, Sophie sometimes talked with her father about nature. He explained how plants needed sunlight, water, and care. Sophie listened carefully and learned many useful things. Another hobby Sophie discovered was writing. She kept a small notebook where she wrote about her thoughts, experiences, and dreams. Writing helped her understand her feelings. Sometimes she wrote short stories about imaginary characters who went on small adventures. She shared these stories with Lily, who loved hearing them. On weekends, Sophie liked taking walks in the neighborhood. She observed people, animals, and small details like the colors of houses or the sound of birds. These walks gave her ideas for drawing and writing. One day, Sophie met a neighbor named Daniel while walking. Daniel enjoyed photography as a hobby. He showed Sophie some photos he had taken of sunsets and city streets. Sophie became curious and asked many questions. Daniel explained how he used his camera and looked for interesting scenes. Sophie felt inspired and wanted to try photography too. Daniel lent her a simple camera, and Sophie began taking photos of flowers, trees, and everyday moments. She enjoyed looking at the world more carefully. As time passed, Sophie realized that hobbies helped her feel balanced. When she felt tired or stressed, she could draw, read, or listen to music and feel better. Lily watched Sophie and began exploring her own hobbies. She tried painting, dancing, and writing small poems. Sophie encouraged her and praised her efforts. One evening, the family talked about hobbies during dinner. Sophie shared how each hobby taught her patience and creativity. Her parents agreed that hobbies made life richer. At the local community center, Sophie joined a small hobby club. People met once a week to share their interests. Some painted, some played music, and others talked about books. Sophie felt nervous at first but soon felt comfortable. She met new friends who shared ideas and supported each other. This experience helped her grow more confident. During one meeting, members organized a small exhibition of their work. Sophie displayed her drawings and photos. She felt proud when people appreciated her efforts. One member suggested that Sophie try learning a new hobby each month. Sophie liked the idea and decided to challenge herself. The next month, she tried learning simple yoga exercises. She practiced breathing slowly and stretching gently. Yoga helped her relax and feel calm. After that, she tried learning basic sewing. Her mother showed her how to sew buttons and fix small tears. Sophie enjoyed creating small items like simple bags. Through these experiences, Sophie learned that hobbies did not need to be perfect. The joy came from trying and learning. One afternoon, Sophie sat in the garden thinking about how much her life had changed. She felt grateful for the time she spent exploring her interests. Daniel invited Sophie to join a small photo walk in the park. Several people walked together and took pictures. Sophie enjoyed sharing ideas and learning from others. At home, Sophie created a small corner in her room for hobbies. She placed her sketchbook, books, guitar, and camera there. This space reminded her to spend time doing what she loved. Sometimes Sophie felt busy or tired and skipped her hobbies. But she noticed that when she returned to them, she felt happier and more relaxed. Lily once asked Sophie why hobbies were important. Sophie explained that hobbies helped people express themselves and enjoy life. During a family gathering, Sophie showed her relatives some drawings and photos. They praised her creativity, and she felt encouraged. As seasons changed, Sophie continued exploring. In autumn, she drew falling leaves. In winter, she read more books indoors. In spring, she planted new flowers. One day, Sophie wrote in her notebook about her journey with hobbies. She realized that hobbies taught her patience, curiosity, and gratitude. She also learned that hobbies could bring people together. Through drawing, music, and photography, she made new friends and shared experiences. One evening, Sophie sat by the window listening to soft music. She felt peaceful and thankful for the simple joys in her life. She understood that hobbies were not just activities but a way to connect with herself and the world around her. As time went on, Sophie continued discovering new interests. She promised herself to keep learning and enjoying each moment. Her story showed that even simple hobbies could bring great happiness. By following her interests, Sophie built a life full of creativity and joy. And so, in her quiet home with a small garden, Sophie continued to draw, read, play music, and explore, finding beauty in everyday life and sharing her love of hobbies with everyone around her.